On Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, the voice of the Tigers, Dave Wolo, and Brett Stotts Norsworthy.
And welcome, everybody. Sports Time on the road. We are at Memphis Paints. That, so you know, is right at Mendenhall and Poplar. It is right across from the half shell. So nice to have everybody on this sweltering Friday, but the weekend is almost here. And Stats, it is good to see you in person. You have survived a 4-day marathon of a one-man show. Pretty good.
I enjoyed every split second of it, I promise you. It went by quickly, but glad to be here at Memphis Paints. I want people to come by and see us because we have some great giveaways. We also will have food about 3:30, 3:45 or so. Plenty of good cold water for the hot, steamy day that we're enjoying, and we're getting closer to WGC FESJI next week. And I mean today, when I say we have a great prize package, it includes for next week at the WGC, and looks like we might get blessed with unusually cool weather. But if you win this, you can be really cool. It could be 150 degrees. True. You'll be really cool.
Well, you're talking next week will be low to mid 80s. You heard me. Low to mid 80s for the WGC inaugural event here. That's what they are saying. But we're going to give you air conditioning anyway. At the end of this show tonight, someone will win, and their choice, either tickets for Thursday in the clubhouse or, and frankly, I would do this, but the clubhouse is for Thursday only. If you can't make it Thursday.
Now, don't jaundice the listener. Don't prejudice the jury.
I'm trying to enhance.
Just what you would do. That's all you said. It's what you would do.
Their experience. What I would do is I would go to the Michelob Ultra Tent, and you have your choice of any day for that. Yeah. If you win, any day for that. And that's behind the 11th hole. Have you ever been? What was it called? The President's Club at one time? No, or it was a
lot of fun behind the par
Captain's Club, or whatever it was, where you could win money if there was a hole in one. Remember?
Sure could.
You put up $2 or whatever it was, and you were in the pool.
Mm-hmm.
That place is a secret. That's a great place to sit and enjoy.
A secret no longer.
They have TV sets, so you can watch the tournament, but you can see the flight of the ball. You can watch them on the tee box. You can see what you can hear, and you can't hear them, but you can see them talking with their caddies, trying to figure out what club, checking out the wind. Then you see the whole flight of the ball. You see as it comes onto the green, if it's going to go long, if it's going to go to a back bunker, if it's going to hit aqua. You see it. It's a great place. Now you have your choice, if you win, of any day, including the final day, for the Michelob Ultra Tent. In when you come, ladies and gentlemen, and you see us and say hello and you register to win these tickets, you must put your email on, because that's the only way we can get you your
That's
winner.
the only way we can do it. There are really kind of two requirements. We want you to come by, but after that, we want you to say hello, and we want you to make sure to put the email on that for sure, because it's going to be fun next week, the golf tournament. Even when you're in that area on 11, you can see a lot of green action on 10. And behind you's 12T and 12 fairway. So, but all the action on 11 right there in front of you, and it's going to be a special week. We know what the breaking news, what it is today, but also know this: we have our best field ever, and kind of any agitation or angst you want to get out about who's not coming, today's the day to do it, because on Monday. I am today I'm mostly, but today's the day I'll take agitation, angst, and, well, I think a little bit of sorrow for the sports fan. But starting Monday, we're going to talk about what we have instead of what we don't have.
Well, today there is some lamenting is the best way.
Sure.
I can put it. It is, reality is hit. And honestly, I think I knew yesterday. I know I knew yesterday. I knew after his first tee shot yesterday,
that was it,
that he was not going to be able to come. It's not like we had a balloon and the air all came out. I don't think it's quite that dramatic, but I think there's a little sadness, and I'm going to tell you.
It's not the Hindenburg, no.
I'm going to tell you why I think this is sadness, because people could say next year, he'll come next year. Here's the problem with that. The problem is next year he's most likely not a guy you think could win the tournament. He's not a guy coming off winning a major. He's not a guy who came off finishing 21st in another major. We don't know that he won't be, but the odds are pretty good he's not winning the Masters again. And so it was really going to be special. His first time here as a major winner. Obviously, there's something wrong.
Yeah,
I'm
with you on the limit.
And I heard Nick Faldo saying today, and then this was early in the round when he was still trying to get back to the cut line, and there were moments where he had gotten it to the point where 4 under he could get there. He had to start birdieing. The truth is, Nick said this: you can't play sharp golf if you don't play for a month, and that's a problem. That is a major problem. And so today we sort of lament. He said afterwards, "I just want to go home and get away from it all."
I just want to go home.
I thought he had gotten away from it all.
Click the red heels and return to.
He went to
Ponte
Thailand.
Vedra.
He took the kids and the family to Thailand. Then he went to UK and he started practicing. So he's been away from home for a month. But taking your kids to Thailand, isn't that getting away from it? I don't know. Mm-hmm. I really don't know. I don't think he's being totally upfront.
Saying everything, but I'm hurt.
He is. He's saying everything that not only am I hurt, but I am mentally zeroed out.
We may someday, again, everything's kind of about a 3-year delay with him if you get any news, but we may someday find out everything around it. And I go back to, I thought that Sunday morning into 1, 2 o'clock at the Masters, I really thought he dug deep, Dave. I thought he was, I don't want to ever use the word lucky, but I thought he was fortunate. And he was crafty, aging, left-handed pitcher, beating him with the breaking ball stuff. It took, and he saw them come apart on 12, as Jack Nicklaus said when they filled up 12 with golf balls. And from that point on, he birdied 13, he birdied 15, almost had the hole-in-one on 16, and then scratched out the par on 17. He had room for error bogey on 18. Not literally, but he kind of limped to the finish. He dug deep to get that win out. It took a lot out of him, and I thought I could tell that. People talking the next week about him winning the Grand Slam. I thought, no way. Yes, the sites were conducive this year for him, but the August to May PGA swap I thought was going to hurt with the weather. It did. Pebble and T21 there I thought would be better. This was a wild card from the day they named Port Rush,
right.
the tournament site. He could be, and how many times have we written him off? He could be done because that last surgery, that fusion, that was the Hail Mary. That was you sit down, you have the consultation with the doctors, and they tell you the pros and cons, and you go, all right, what the heck, do it. Let's try it.
I look at it this way. The win at Augusta, to me, was part of a progression because he kept getting better, and he was winning. It wasn't like he wasn't putting himself in position to win. If you look at last year's
Tour
majors,
Championship.
Right, and Tour Championship.
Nothing at the Ryder Cup.
He was out of gas.
Yeah.
But he won a tournament.
In cooler weather again.
Right. He survived at Augusta, and he got help because those guys hit the ball in the water on 12, but he still executed. And he was smart enough to know exactly where he was and how he had to play.
Crafty left-hander.
And so he executed, and I don't think there was any luck. Maybe good fortune slightly because the guys hit the ball at 12 into the water, but he knew what he had to do, and he might have played it differently if it was different. So
he may have gone for Eagle on 13
I was one of those guys. I
15.
never said he was going to win the Grand Slam.
No, you did.
But I thought he was capable of having a better rest of the year. What I didn't take into account was even as great as he is and as confident as he has always been, my sense is there was such a sense of relief that he could really do this and get back into the winner's circle and win at the one place that he probably cherishes the most, and showed his kids what his life was really like before he was born, with all the crowd adulation and being the icon that he was, that he just didn't have anything left. I don't think he really cared. I don't think he really cared about playing Portrush. I really don't. I think he came because he had to. He's supposedly still trying to chase.
He's played 12
Jack.
rounds since the Masters. That's the equivalent of 3 tournaments.
Right.
Since April.
And you hear him today. I got to go home and I got to get away from it. You've been off for a month. The fire, at least right now,
it's injury and fire. I think fire is a big one.
I do. I think a lot of it is
I showed
fire.
him. I did it.
Yeah, exactly.
I showed him. I came back
so.
from historic on and off the course stuff, and I showed him and got his Presidential Medal of Freedom and kind of maybe not to the rocking chair, not just ceremonial golfer. I mean, he's not going to be out there when they start the Masters on one next year with Gary Player and Jack Nicklaus. I think he can still contend if he's got any health, but maybe a chapter closing. What do you think about 18 now? In 18? April.
I didn't think he was going to get to 18.
I thought he might tie.
Now I'm worried about
I've been everywhere on 18.
83. Now I'm worried about 83.
Really?
I didn't think he was going to get 18.
Yeah, to bring it up.
But it's part of it is that win, so I know there's something physical. But the other part of this for me is the fire in his belly, which he always had, which his dad gave to him.
One of the great competitors ever.
And I don't, based on his attitude today and not playing for a month after he was tied for 21st at the U.S. Open, that's not like horrible.
No.
Tells
me. A
lot
of people take T21.
Tells me mentally he got back to the top of the mountain, and maybe that's it. Maybe there's not another act for Tiger Woods.
On the 18th.
Which kills me, because where I wanted him to get 19 and 100 wins.
I had into the mid-20s. It's been like the roulette wheel for me. I've been at 25. I've been at 24. I've bought 23. I've bought 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16.
It's been going down steadily.
I was holding on 14 at one time. I mean, I've said so much about that number. Somewhere we got to tape of me being right.
When he beat Rocco with the busted knee,
in 08,
I believe you came out and said he's going to obliterate it. We're talking 25.
Yeah.
I do remember that.
Yeah, and you
know what? I was buying it.
Why Yang did something to him before the big fall at the 09 PGA.
Yeah,
that did something to him because
it showed he could be beaten. But
one of the few times
he should have known that. And I'll tell you why, because he did study history, and he knew Jack's records, and he was chasing Jack's records, and he should have seen how many times he finished second and how many times Jack did, and should have known, because he's a smart guy who went to Stanford, should have known, wow, I've been pretty fortunate to get all these. I'm going to finish second a few times like Jack did.
They got to come sometime.
Yeah, just by odds.
Yeah, they do. Phenomenal athlete. I'm disappointed because I wanted people around here to see what I think has been one of, if not the most transcendent sports figure. I mean, a king on the stage when he walks out today. I wanted people to see it. They're not going to be able to see that. We are going to see a great tournament. We're going to talk about it at 5:30 with tournament director Daryl Smith, and it'll be fun.
I'm going to give you the lineup here in a second. We still have top and not top story. Obviously, the top story is Tiger didn't make the cut and basically said, I'm going home. I've got to rest up, and hopefully I'll be able to be a participant in the FedEx Cup playoffs. We're sitting here in Memphis Paints, and this is a cool place. One, it's cool. So if you've been outside today, and I had to give a little speech and introduce Ellie Prescott at a function outside.
It's a steamer.
Oh,
it's brutal.
Man,
Thank goodness we're not playing golf this week.
I think it's a feel like 110.
If you've been on the business end of a paintbrush today, come by and see us. It's a lot cooler in here than where you've been.
That's the thing. Memphis Paints is, as I mentioned, what a nice, clean-looking store. But it sells to a lot of contractors and designers. And so I think some people are under the impression, maybe they only sell to contractors and designers. They're very happy to sell to the
weekend
public.
Job.
And I'll bet you will find some good prices on things here. Benjamin Moore Paint. I see Aero Sanders. I see anything you need to get the job done with painting. Come on down, see us. And the first 2 people that walk through the door that have been listening to us and say, I would like to go see the basketball tournament. This is the basketball tournament. I think you were away. I had Will Coleman on, who was talking about it, and I think Eli had him on, or Greg had him on yesterday. So tonight it starts, but I've got tickets for a family, tickets for 4, for Session 3, which is tomorrow, El Marone Fieldhouse, starting at 5 o'clock. These tickets, I believe, are $20 a piece. These are 4 tickets for that Session 3. That would be tomorrow. Just walk through the door, say you want the tickets. We'll give them to a family of 4. And then, when those are gone, you can come in. You can actually ask for Session 4. That's the Championship Series, and that is on Sunday at 3. So you got your choice, first one through the door. I'm giving them away as tickets for 4, either for tomorrow or for Sunday, your choice. And the next guy that comes in, you're stuck with the second choice, whatever it may be.
But it's a good choice.
That's the way we're going to do it. So come in if you want the tickets for 4. So take your family, take your buddies, whatever it may be, come to us. We're busy today in just a little bit. Bruce Marshall, as always, our golden man from the Gold Sheet in Vegas, he will be with us. And then at 4 o'clock, Peter Edmiston, and we will complete our discussion about the parade. Is he the head of the parade? Is he marching down?
I think he will.
Because I know I'm the rep to the White House.
Very important job.
And I'm not sure how that is working. Then at 4:30, baseball with Tim Doolin. At 5 o'clock, we'll get John Gowen's feelings about 2 things. One, no Tiger in the WGC, but John will come on and talk a little bit about what's going on with the Open Championship. And at 5:30, the final deadline is going to be an hour prior to Darrell Smith, tournament director, his appearance, and we'll get what Darrell is thinking about with this tournament right around the corner. Of course, we end the show, as always, about 5:55, and we will have crunch time.
This hour brought to you every day by Lexus of Memphis, 2600 Ridgeway, and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Give them a call at 362-8833. Lexus of Memphis offering the Golden Opportunity July sales event. Great offers on all 2019 models and always on special lease options. If you've ever thought I'd look great in a Lexus, well, guess what? Lexus of Memphis thinks you would look great in a Lexus, too. And those air conditioners and those Lexus, you'll be comfortable today in about 2 seconds after you get in that hot, steamy car. Drive in luxury and confidence knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of an all-new 2019 flagship LS500, and you will be looking and driving great. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. When you purchase a Lexus, you get top-of-the-line engineering and design that makes for the luxury driving experience. 362-8833, online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Way to go, Drew Barrett. You're top producer of
I know,
the day
I'm a
for
pro.
Sure.
Way to go, Drew.
I was wondering, was I going to have to say something?
You can read both of these twisted
He
minds.
hit that thing right on cue. All right, we got no Tiger. That's the story of the day. But how about this story? How about we've already sold? I haven't done that. How about the folks at the WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational? How about they've already sold more tickets for this golf tournament than they've ever sold for any golf tournament in the history, 60 years worth of history of our tournament in Memphis. The normal revenue is about $20 million. This will be minimum of $40 million, up to maybe $60 million, maybe triple what we normally see.
Let's triple it next week.
So there could be some bad side of no Tiger. Not going to hurt the pocketbook, ladies and gentlemen.
Dave, you mentioned it's obviously the Tiger News. Best golf tournament field we've ever had, though. We're going to have it next week. Let's kind of resolve today that whatever angst and disconcertment we may have, and we have it, disappointment, we have it, and I'm not putting on a brave face. This field is that good. Again, 94% of the best players in the world will be here. 47 out of the top 50. I think my math's right. Let's talk about at some point what we have instead of what we don't have. I would have loved to have had Tiger. I still would drive to Windermere or Jupiter or we're at Port St. Lucie, wherever he lives, and get him here.
Back.
But he's not going to be here next week, but all the best are.
Yeah, that and that is the heart of the matter.
Not top story of the day.
This stuff I guess we're going to get more and more of this with time, honestly. James Harden announced today, following Anthony Davis' proclamation, that they're going to sit out the FIBA World Cup. They are going to say thank you, but no.
Add something else to sports that doesn't matter.
To Greg Popovich.
We think of all the things that doesn't matter in sports.
Do you think it will matter in an Olympic year? Because I got a feeling that'll go away too. As long as they're getting their endorsements.
It has to. I mean, so many things around sports doesn't matter. They don't matter anymore.
The only
Bowl
thing
games
is,
don't matter.
If you're on that
end of the year, don't matter.
If you're on that Olympic team, that opens up the door for more endorsement money. That
if you've never been.
That's what I would be telling my client if I were an agent.
Yeah.
But, to me, I love when it says USA
I do too.
and it's the best guys and they're playing against the
and
other
I want to
part of
pound
the world.
people.
And it's a FIBA or it's an Olympic thing. I think it means something. Because
I won't pay back for the soccer.
The rest of the world's catching up, and we see that by the way
Sure are.
NBA players are getting drafted.
And for a brief time, the rest of the world did more than catch up. They may have passed there a little bit when Manu and Argentina won the gold in 2004, and that kind of redid things, and people got a little more serious.
Yeah, no question about it. But
I don't think we could send the collegians anymore.
James Harden, I mean, of all guys who. I know he had 2 years ago this incredible year, and he's a great player. But if I were him, I would want more positive pub, and this is a way to get it.
How do you
I
think
have no
we do?
idea if this is the first time it's with Popovich, too, so I don't know if that has.
If we sent the college guys, how would we do? Because we know how it got at the end.
We'd lose. That's why we stopped using college guys.
Yeah, after that bronze in 2008 in Seoul. My not top story, again, a lot of people not wanting to admit actually what has happened on the field. Jim Harbaugh kind of wanting to dig at Urban Meyer, and now Jim Delaney yesterday, he was wanting to pick at the SEC schedules, and he said he respects what they have done, and then he kind of hammered them for not playing a ninth conference game. I want a ninth conference game in the SEC. Most consumers want that. But media days have kind of been excuse-making days, hasn't it? Dylan Moses, Alabama, said they're better than Clemson.
Better. Yeah, right. Well,
Harbaugh picking at Meyer.
Let's just to illustrate your point. Let's take a look at Western Carolina and New Mexico State.
Southeast Louisiana. New Mexico State plays FBS, though. And that's Steve Mason's former school.
Okay.
Last time I took a shot at him, I got a bad text from my buddy Steve.
Really? Yeah. He does.
They do play FBS.
How about Western Kentucky?
They play FBS. They're in the Sun Belt.
We played them in a bowl game 3 years ago.
Yeah, Dave. I mean,
I'm
played in.
There's
lost to
worse.
them.
There's worse. Okay, but
you're
Sanford.
You're kind of going Jim Delaney. Sanford at FCS. I agree.
I'm not a big Western Kentucky guy either. We played there. I remember it.
They're in the Sun Belt. Sun Belt's a good league.
UT Martin.
FCS. Shouldn't be playing them.
Towson.
Same thing. SEC shouldn't be playing
Murray
them.
State.
Maybe in basketball.
Eastern Michigan.
They're FBS.
UT Martin again.
UT Martin joining SEC, isn't it?
I'm not. I'm not trying to put the Sun Belt or even the MAC out of business. But I don't know. I think if you're the SEC, that's...
Well, I've told you my schedule. 9 league games, 1 game that doesn't count in the league against the other division.
Right.
It doesn't count in the league. It's a non-conference game, the mandated Power 5 game, and then someone from your area. Tulane, Memphis, Middle, Troy, Arkansas State.
And if everybody had those parameters, then... the only problem you might have down the road with that would be bowl eligibility. That's it. That's the only thing that
Too bad. Win games.
I agree. And it would mean we'd have to stop.
I mean, if the budget's too small,
adding bowl games.
Are the waterfalls too small? Or all the food and all the accoutrements too small? Win games.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Sleepy Z's. That's Michael Zellner's place. You know where Sleepy Z's is. Kirby Whitten Road and Summer Avenue. We've been talking about discounts, and you get 50 to 80% off the price of mattresses or furniture every day of the week, and they're open every day of the week. 7 days a week, Sleepy Z's is in business, and you know what? Michael Zellner is there probably every one of those days. He loves to chat, and he'll talk about Serta and Simmons Beauty Rest when it comes to mattresses. Number one mattress store 4 years in a row is voted by you. And then there's furniture, signature designed by Ashley and Benchcraft too, and a whole kiosk full. If you don't see it on the floor, you'll see it in the kiosk. You're going to love the store. Go talk to Michael. That's Sleepy Z's by Michael Zellner, where you never wake up on the wrong side of the bed. We take a break, and when we come back, you think it's hot here? I wonder what it's like in Vegas. Bruce Marshall will tell us in a minute as you listen to Sports Time on the Road at Memphis Paints on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
The Tigers, the Grizzlies, the SEC. We are real sports talk.
I love it. I love it.
Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Sleepy Z's Mattresses by Michael Zellner is the winner of the Memphis Most Best Mattress Store for 4 straight years. They have an A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau, and Sleepy Z's is the mattress store where you can save 50 to 80% off retail store prices every day of the week. They carry Serta and several other brands and have hundreds of mattresses to choose from. Go there today and mention Sports 56. You'll get an extra 10% off any mattress or furniture. Call Michael directly at 901-359-1040. It's Sleepy Z's, located at 2790 Kirby Winton Road.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Is your air conditioning system ready for the hot Memphis summer? Good news, it's spring cleaning time at Conway Services. We'll come out and perform our exclusive 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up on your air conditioning system for only $69. Did you know the number one cause of air conditioning system breakdown is dirt? A dirty air conditioning system can literally starve the life from your home's cooling system, causing untimely breakdowns, higher utility costs, and even premature equipment failure. We'll remove years of dirt, grime, and leaves from your air conditioning system, making sure you're ready for the hot Memphis summer, all for only $69. It's like taking your air conditioner to a car wash. Plus, right now, we'll treat your air conditioner with a special Teflon coating to help protect against the hot Memphis sun. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511, and call this week and we'll perform your super tune-up for only $57.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
I love the real estate business. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Marks Bensdorf Realtors. I've been selling real estate a long time. What I love is having people ask me how some houses sell so quickly and others sit. That's an easy answer. Any agent can sit and tell you what you want to hear. I tell you what you need to know. I give you options and alternatives. I'm a firm believer in preparation, presentation, and proper pricing. We discuss that and my unique Shell Bucks option. Beating your competition down the street or around the corner is the name of the game. So if you or someone you know is thinking of selling, talk to 2 to 3 real estate agents and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why my strategic marketing program with the Shell Bucks option can mean the difference in whether you sit or sell. You'll find out why people often say when you want the job done, call Shell Done. You can reach me at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's Shell Done Rosengarten. 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com.
Wolo and Stats will be on location at the Spirit Shop, 4848 Poplar Avenue, Tuesday, July 23rd from 3 to 6. You'll be able to join in on a whiskey tasting event from 3 to 7. Sports 56 will have lots of prizes, like rounds of golf at Wedgwood, maybe a Butcher Shop gift card, and 2 very lucky people will win 2-box tickets to the World Golf Tournament. Central Barbecue will be on hand to fill your belly. Wolo and Stats on location at the Spirit Shop, Tuesday, July 23rd from 3 to 6. On Sports 56, 96.1 and 87.7.
Come to Holly Chevrolet in Marion and get a sizzling summer deal. Right now, get 20% below MSRP. That's over $9,000 off MSRP on the strongest, most advanced Silverado ever. The all-new 2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LT. All 2018s must go. Get a 2018 Malibu for as low as $23,156. Stop by today and check out Holly's large selection of new and pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs ready for you to enjoy. And at Holly Chevrolet, it's a no-pressure, no-hassle environment. As a matter of fact, there's no Badgers. And never pay a dock fee. Find new roads at exit 14 off I-55 in Marion, just 15 minutes from downtown Memphis. And online at hollychevrolet.com.
2019 Chevy Silverado Double Cab LT, stock number N3580. 2018 Chevy Malibu, stock number N3377. All discounts, rebates, and incentives are included and applied. Must qualify finance with GM Financial and have a 99 on your GM product. Prices do not include tax, title, or registration. Take delivery by 7/31/19. See dealer for details. Join Peter Emiston from the Peter Emiston Experience Monday from noon to 1 at Landers Ford, 2082 West Poplar Avenue in Collierville. This will be another chance to win World Golf Championship tickets at Southwind July 24th through the 28th. That's this Monday, the 22nd, from noon to 1 p.m. at Landers Ford on Poplar in Collierville to practice your putting skills and have a chance to win WGC tickets at Southwind July 24th through the 28th from Sports 56, 96.1, and 87.7.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brett Norsworthy.
Stats, just living like a man on the road all the time. Stats, Wolo, we are at Memphis Paints, so we're on the road again. You just like forsaking home?
On the road Tuesday?
No, on the road next Tuesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday, Friday at TPC Southwind.
Out
you won't
Nirvana.
even know what the Family Leisure Studio looks like.
Wherever
anymore.
we go, we're in the Family Leisure Studio. I can feel the good vibes from it.
Hey, I love it. We are at Memphis Paints, and we would love for you to come. We've still got tickets left for the college basketball tournament that the U of M guys, Will Coleman and Jeremy Hunt and D. Wash is on this team. They are playing in a tournament at the El Marone. We got 4 tickets for tomorrow and 4 tickets for the championship on Sunday. The winner goes to Chicago. It's like a Sweet 16. The winning team in this tournament, and a bunch of these games are on ESPN, the winner wins $2 million smackaroos.
That's real cash.
That is. It's pretty impressive. And to entice you to come, besides these tickets, in a little bit, Central Barbecue will be here.
Yes, sir.
We will feed the world. In the meantime, I don't know if there's a line on this college basketball tournament, but if there is, our guy from the Gold Sheet, Bruce Marshall, would know. Do you have anything on what do they call this thing?
Are you taking action on the summer basketball, Bruce?
Not yet, but now that you mention it, maybe I should. I feel like I'm shirking my duties here at the Gold Sheet, but I'm actually not in Las Vegas. I was with Brett down in Hoover, and now I'm up in Virginia today, so I'm a little out of the loop on college hoops for the moment.
Got to be cooler in Virginia than it was in Birmingham or here today.
We never saw the outside in Birmingham, though, did we, Bruce?
We didn't, and it's not too cool up here in Virginia today either, so it's a little sticky up here too.
Bruce, fantastic to be with you all week. I mean, you know the friendship, admiration, and just the respect I have for you and that big, gigantic brain. And you did some research, and we were talking about the AAC and in football, and the one power broker, history, tradition field team that they for sure have. I think they have others, but it's Houston. Tell our listeners about the research you did on the Houston Cougars, starting way back with Bill Yeoman. And Houston just very rarely swing and miss on a coach. They recognize quickly to pull the plug on Major Applewhite and replace him with Dana Holgerson, but it's a long-standing tradition for U of H.
Yeah, it is. And, yeah, it's great seeing you, Brett, and everybody else. It seems like it gets sooner every year. I mean, it seems like we just did last year in Atlanta, and here we did this one, but it's always fun seeing you and the rest at SEC Media Days back to Atlanta next year, so we'll see how that goes. But, yes, the reason I started to look at Houston, because on Tuesday night, Brett and I, Richard Cross, everybody was there. We were invited downtown to the Lyric Theater, and ESPN was showing a few chapters of their new Saturdays in the South movie, and the chapters that featured Steve Spurrier, Herschel Walker, and Archie Manning, who happened to be there, and were regaling everybody with stories. And then we saw, Laura Rutledge hosted it, and it was really neat. at the theater, but they came by Hoover during the daytime and talked to us. I had a chance to talk to Archie for a brief moment and asked him effectively, the best team he played while he was at Ole Miss. And he said it was probably Houston and in 69. And I asked him, is it better than Arkansas? And he said, yeah, I think so. He said they were so dang quick. He said we couldn't do anything. So I did a little bit of checking. I remember that Houston team somewhat, and they actually, upon further review, they started their season. They hit Florida with that John Reeves, Carlos Alvarez at the worst possible time. They lost the opener, and they got in a track meet and lost to Florida, and then got upset by Oklahoma State, and then they went on this tear, including 3 SEC teams they played. The finale was in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl, New Year's Eve '69 against Auburn. But against Auburn, Ole Miss in midseason, and Mississippi State in late September, all in the Astrodome. Total score: Houston 135, opponents 18, so 135 to 18. Total
That's
yards
Alabama-like.
1773 to 486. They rushed for 1176 yards in those 3 games. The game against Ole Miss, the one Archie said we couldn't do anything, well, he was right. Houston had 523 yards, and Ole Miss 223. One of the worst beatings in college history. I think it was the worst Mississippi State beating ever. 74-0. Houston, 736 yards, 549 rushing. Robert Newhouse, as a sophomore, off the bench, 234 yards.
Wow.
But you look at that team, 74-0, 25-11 over Ole Miss, 36-7 over very good Auburn team. Pat Sullivan is a sophomore, but he was already pretty darn good. And they outgained Auburn 514 to 189. They eviscerated teams. First downs in those 3 games, total of 83-34. Houston even had more penalties than so they weren't getting helped by the refs. They were out-penalized the opponents all 3 of those games against those SEC teams. That was Robert Newhouse. It was Riley Odoms as a sophomore, Elmo Wright, Jim Strong, a running back who went on to play for the Falcons for a few years, Greg Brazine, the linebacker, Moon Mullins at quarterback, and Bill Yeoman. That was a team. I'm going to write about them in my American retrospective. But listen, no less than an authority than Archie Manning said that's the best team he played against in college. Well, that's something else.
And got beat by him in '69 at the Dome, and then in the 1970 season, that was the game that they injured him, and he broke his arm in Oxford. And it highlights, Bruce, really what teams have to do, because that run they went on, that catapulted Houston into the Southwest Conference. And Utah's winning recently catapulted them into the Pac-12. The next round of conference realignment, you will win your way in.
You are right, Brett, and that's very interesting. By the way, in '68, Houston also dealt Archie his only loss ever at Mississippi Memorial Stadium in Jackson. That's the only time Archie lost a game in Jackson was in '68 to Houston, which was also another really good Houston team. So you're right. That got the Southwest Conference's notice. That actually, in '71, they announced that for Houston, that it would be joining the Southwest Conference, but they didn't start competing until the middle of the 70s. They weren't competing for a football
76.
until 76. And that year they went to the Cotton Bowl. Their first year they were eligible for the Cotton Bowl. So that was quite a forgotten story about Houston, and you're very correct. They've had a lot of good coaches throughout the years besides Yeoman. Jack Pardee was there, then the short John Jenkins era, and they haven't wasted time with Major Applewhite. Moved him out. They had Kevin Sumlin was there, and Art was. They've had a lot of big time coaches, and they think they're paying a lot of money for Dana Holgerson. That's for sure. So they don't mess around in Houston, and they do have a colorful history.
Whatever the league is, they compete.
They do.
If it's a G5, P5, wherever that level is, because
in both sports
they have a commitment. And there's an interesting thing in the state of Texas, where if you're going to build, the government sort of builds things. Those cranes on that campus don't necessarily come from private funding. They come from government funding. And so it is interesting to me. You just said something that got my radar up. Do you really think in the next few years, because we had Commissioner Sankey on, we had Bill Hancock on, that was great. Nobody thinks until this television contract is up, and they've still got a ways to go on this, that there would be any kind of dominoes falling that there would be any expansion. Do you still think there really will be?
Probably not. Not yet, but in a couple of years, the talk may regenerate. And whether Houston gets them, I don't think. Houston, I don't think would, because with Texas A&M there, they're already figuring, the Houston market as part of the SEC footprint. So that's not going to exactly bring in more TV sets. But there could still be some more movement elsewhere, all across the country, when this stuff comes up again, and it will. And but back to mentioning Commissioner Sankey. I thought it was very interesting that his first leadoff comments in his State of the SEC address on Monday had to do with legalized gaming and some of the concerns that he sees now coming forth. And I thought it was pretty perceptive, and he knows what's going on there. And some of the stuff he said indicated to me he's done some real research on this. But I think his only worry is, and the worry for college sports is, that the only thing that could slow down this gravy train, which seems to keep accelerating every 5 or so years when the next TV contract comes up, is some sort of a scandal, and he's justifiably worried about that. And that's about
we're bound to have
the only thing I could see that would slow this down a bit. So he's trying to address that the best he can, and I think that's the one worry he has the next few years, that there'll be some big scandal involving gaming.
How are you going to fight it? First of all, you're the conference of one commission. You're not even over all of the NCAA, and it's already been legalized by the United States government, giving states the right to do this if they choose. How can you, as an entity that's going to be bet upon, have any say over it? You don't. You have none.
You don't. But what he's worried about. But what he's worried about, Dave, is any of these games getting compromised at any point, and.
Sure, and he should.
They could, and listen, I know guys who do this stuff, the integrity units overseas with soccer and all that, and I've dealt with some of these guys before, and they have told me before that they're great concern. And by the way, people have been betting in games in the United States since before the Supreme Court overturned Passable last year, so this has been going on. It's just a little bit more out front now, and in places like Mississippi, you can actually walk in and make a bet. Where you couldn't in Mississippi before in a lot of these other states. But
soon
college sports are a little bit more vulnerable, and the guys overseas who do this for a living have told me that for a long time, just because you've got players, it's not like the NFL, nobody's going to throw a game in the NFL because the guys are making too much money. You can't make any more money than you're already making, really. But there's vulnerability in college, and not just football, but basketball too, and all the way up and down the chain, wherever, the games you can bet on, and you don't want one of these kids being compromised. And if the public believes there's something not right with the result, that's the worst case scenario for the college football, college basketball, and so forth. So that's what he's worried about, that somebody's going to taint. One of these results will get tainted, and that would be a hard stain to get rid of.
Bruce, we've had periodic college basketball scandals. I don't remember a big point-shaving, games-fixed scandal in college football. The running back at Toledo a few years ago, am I correct in that?
Yes, and there were a few others that have been sort of confirmed, not confirmed, in recent years. But, basketball.
But nothing like Boston College and hoops.
Right, Boston College and Tulane. I mean, it was
Arizona State.
The basketball, but that would. I mean, I think Coach Sankey, he may address football too. He's just as concerned about basketball. That happening again too. Not yet in football, but if it did, it would be a earthshaker. This is just preventive on his part. He's trying to do, preventive measures here if he can. It's just educating the kids. But I think that's one of his main worries. That's his worry about the legalized gaming. I don't think he cares as much about gaming, except that it could negatively impact if any of these games get compromised, and that's his big worry.
In the American, it was, again, UCF picked to win the East, Memphis picked to win the West. Cincinnati was actually picked a little bit higher than Memphis, so it would go 1, 2, 3 that way. I don't think we ever went over the SEC vote. One's assuming Alabama won.
Just released today.
In the West, and Georgia is number 1 in the East.
Landslides.
You disagree with any of those picks?
Well, I voted. I'm in those votes, and you can guess. You know how I like to do this stuff. I'm a little off the wall. I never vote for Alabama just because I don't want to. It's no fun. I mean, listen, I was kicking around. Why not throw Vanderbilt out there? I'll be the only guy who did that. I was the only guy who picked Mississippi State, by the way, that year. Dan Mullen got number 1 back in 2013. But I picked LSU just to be ornery here, and they were one of the 3 votes LSU got. But I was the Kentucky vote in the East, and it was just, again, me just being me. Although, I'm going to tell you one thing about Kentucky here. The schedule breaks pretty well for Kentucky, as it does for Missouri. Although a couple of those MAC teams are not bad that Kentucky's playing. The one thing, the coaches that I took out of Hoover, Mark Stoops, and this is yesterday, Dave and Brett, before I left, right before I saw you the last time before I left yesterday, Mark Stoops was up, and he looked like the cat who ate the canary when I asked him about the transfer quarterback from Troy, Sawyer Smith, who is just inked with in Lexington this week, and he's eligible. This is the kid down in that game in Mobile against Buffalo in the bowl, threw for darn near 400 yards. And listen, Kentucky needs a quarterback who can throw, and I think this kid is the best thrower they've had there since at least Andre Woodson. And you could tell that Stoops is trying to contain his enthusiasm about this kid, but he gives him another dimension on that offense that they need because Wilson's not much of a thrower. But that I thought was kind of interesting, and this is like the 5th year or a program that wins for the first time like that, a breakthrough year for Kentucky. Can they sustain it? And a lot of people think Stoops has built that thing up pretty well to sustain it, whereas a guy like, Bobby Petrino gets to his 5th year, and it fall apart like it did last year at Louisville. They just use all the energy to get good, and then it stops. Stoops has built something there. It's a long shot they'll win. It's Georgia or Florida will probably win the East. But I think they're going to be a surprise team, and they'll be good again this year over in Lexington.
Well, it would be better for Kentucky to pull off the upset than Missouri, because at this point, if Missouri won, they're not eligible to go to the championship game or to a bowl game. That would be disaster for the league.
They feel great about relief. I got to see it to believe it, Bruce.
Well, you're right, and they're appealing this. From I talked to Brandon Weesey up there at the TMS in St. Louis, and I did a spot with him, and he tells me that they're hopeful that they can get a reversal on that bowl ban. If that happened, it would change some things in the East for sure. I don't know how likely that is, but Missouri's going to try and see if they get a favorable ruling. They did cooperate the full way through in this investigation with the NC2A. Not that they shouldn't have been punished, but they were hoping they wouldn't get hit that hard. Right. And the NC2A still kind of threw the book at them. But they're appealing it, and they're hoping they might get a favorable ruling on the rebound here, and maybe they won't have to miss a bowl. We'll see. But that's another situation to watch in the East as the fall comes up upon us.
How do we get more of you?
Thanks, Dave. Check us out online, goldsheet.com. We're putting all these, once I get back to Las Vegas, I'll put more of them up. Conference previews through July into August, then we'll get to the NFL in a few weeks, but we still got some more conference previews to go. I'll get the SEC up there probably next week. And every day, baseball picks up there, goldsheet.com. Also for me, VegasInsider.donbest.com. Twitter at Bruce A. Marshall.
Have a safe trip back to
Thank
Vegas
you, Bruce.
From Virginia. Thank you. We appreciate it.
Thanks, guys.
Have a good weekend. This portion of the show brought to you by Trinity Professional Services. I talk about getting clean. Here's the thing about Trinity. You get so clean, you not only see it, you feel it. Now that is cleanliness. If you're looking for windows that you'd like to see out again, maybe see things you haven't seen in years because they clean them inside and out, Trinity Professional Services, rugs and carpets. You don't need new carpets, not if you let Trinity clean yours. Ceiling fans, baseboards, and floors. I'm telling you, they're terrific. That's why they started with 3 people 4 years ago. Now they've got 40. Just give Todd Pope a call, 833-6773, 833-6773. Trinity Professional Cleaners, get clean. Back in a minute. This is Sports Time live from Memphis Pates on Sports 56 and 87.7.
Start your day with the Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hertz right here on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is Troy Five Ash, owner of Five Ash Roofing. If you're in need of a roof, there's no better place to start than Five Ash Roofing. No matter what your situation is, we have you covered. We can walk you through the insurance process without committing fraud like many of my competitors. You'd be surprised how many times salesmen and contractors will manufacture storm damage just so they can get a sale. We do residential, multifamily, and commercial work. We're certified in every form of roofing we offer. Our labor warranties are for the life of the shingle, and we don't charge extra for that. And to my knowledge, there's no other roofing company in Memphis offering that level of security. And if that's not enough, we offer a best price guarantee. We are the official roofer of the University of Memphis Athletic Department and a proud member of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Welcome to Sherwin-Williams.
Hi there. I heard paints are 40% off.
Yep, and stains too.
Right here.
Mm-hmm. Only at your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store.
Right now.
Well, July 19th through the 22nd.
Right on.
Right? Ask Sherwin-Williams, July 19th through 22nd, and save 40% on paints and stains, with sale prices starting at $23.09. Only at your local Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Sub-exclusions apply. See store for details.
Looking for great seafood? Head to the Half Shell, voted Memphis's favorite seafood 5 years in a row. Enjoy delicious seafood at the Half Shell for lunch and dinner, along with the Half Shell's extensive new wine list. Or relax at the bar, open daily until 3 a.m. For a great weekend, try Saturday and Sunday brunch at the Half Shell from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. The Half Shell, always Memphis's favorite. Available for private parties, catering, and daily box lunch delivery. The Half Shell, serving full food menu till 2 a.m. daily. 2 locations on Mendenhall and on Winchester.
Memphis's hometown event is taking on a new identity. The World Golf Championships FedEx St. Jude Invitational makes its debut at TPC Southwind, July 24th through 28th. Don't miss PGA Tour superstars Justin Thomas, Brooks Koepka, and more.
Join me, Dustin Johnson, when I return to TPC Southwind. Tickets are on sale at WGCFedEx.com.
No matter what your past credit, no matter how much you owe on your trade, no matter if you tried to buy at another deal and were turned down, Sunrise Buick GMC can get you financed. There's never been a better time to trade. Sunrise has hundreds of new vehicles and over $5 million in used car inventory, specializing in cars and trucks under $10,000. Sunrise has the lowest prices and will not be undersold. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, Sunrise gets you financed when no one else can. Check out the inventory and apply online at sunrisememphis.com. The blowout sale going on now at all Sunrise locations, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and Collierville.
Now, back to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
We like to party.
Once again, we're having a party right here. We are at Memphis Paints. That is right across from the Half Shell at Mendenhall and Poplar. Come by and see us. We've given away a set of tickets, but I got tickets for tomorrow, the big not championship, but the Saturday night session starting at 5 at the Elmer Rowan in that big tournament, and much of these games will be on ESPN. Brett, there is a sad story today, and I don't know if you know this young man, 32 years old, and a terrific story. He went from a walk-on at Arkansas to 3 years in the NFL, including winning a Super Bowl with the New York Giants, Mitch Petrus. Petrus?
Yeah, from Carlisle.
Apparently only 32 years old and died from heat stroke. He died at North Little Rock Hospital.
It's either his uncle or his dad. I'm not sure which one. I've met Benny Petrus before. And Mitch was a really good player on the Darren McFadden teams, and sometimes they'd move him kind of to fullback in the refrigerator role. He didn't get his hands on the ball, but he was a powerful blocker. And worked outside all day yesterday, and got home last night and got in despair and passed. And a lot of people, you've seen a lot of the Arkansas, the official site, a tribute and kind words, and there were people really shaking up. He was on those Matt Jones and then Darren McFadden teams. I think played in the SEC championship game in 2006 when Arkansas lost to Florida, and then he played for the Giants.
He did.
Really sad story.
32, and he was
horrible.
He was trying to get more involved in broadcasting. Apparently, he did some analysis in sideline for a Little Rock TV station.
Oh, I didn't know that.
For high school football.
Oh, good.
So
I didn't know he did that.
He was really trying, and what a
Horrible.
sad story. Only 32.
Yeah.
It just goes to show you, folks.
Be careful.
If you're playing golf this weekend, if you're on your way now. I'm not saying don't imbibe, but if you're going to drink any kind of alcohol, beer, make sure you drink a lot of liquids. I've known people that didn't realize, beer is not water.
Mitch was a tough guy on some really good teams, and was on that Giants team
that was with Eli.
Yeah, I'm trying to think if it was the first, or I guess it was the second one. It was the second upset of the Patriots, and was a part of that team and played 3 years in the NFL. And I don't know if Benny was his dad or his uncle, but I know a lot of people very heartbroken.
Anyway, almost local as far as I'm concerned.
Carlisle, right down I-40, it sure is.
So close to here, and at the age of 32, that is just way, way, way too young. 1 hour's in the books. I'll let you know this portion of the show is brought to you by Supercuts. Go see my friends at Supercuts and look like Brett, always in not a hair out of place. I know that's where it all started for you. You went to supercuts.com.
Camera loves me, doesn't it, Drew?
We haven't seen you on camera for
yes, it does.
Really loves me then.
I don't know. I think you've aged since I last saw you, personally. Well, I have. Supercuts will make you look good. Look what it's done for stats. Supercuts.com. You find the location nearest to you. There's 15 of them now, all around Memphis, and walk through the door, ask about any kind of haircut. They know them all because it's Supercuts. Details matter, and every haircut ends with a hot towel finish. You walk out feeling invigorated and relaxed all at the same time. I promise. Go check it out and see for yourself. And you know what else? You feel good. Why? Because you look good every time you walk out of Supercuts. We're back in a minute. Peter Edmiston on the parade he's leading for the Grizzlies Summer League team. That's next on Sports Time Live from Memphis Paints on Sports 56, 87.7 and 96.1.
Frontier Western Store's world-famous boot showroom is waiting for you. With aisles and aisles of boots in one easy spot, you will find your next favorite pair at Frontier. Everyone loves Ariat boots, and Frontier has over 1,000 pair in that brand alone. Come grab a pair of rugged work boots like the Work Hog, or discover an everyday classic in Ariat's Rambler. Tons of other brands as well: Rocky, Dan Post, Red Wing, Durango, Justin, Twisted X, and many more. Frontier constantly restocks and refreshes their lineup of boots, so you're certain to walk out of the store happy in your new comfortable footwear. They have a wide assortment of sizes available for men, women, and children. Work, dress, or play, Frontier's knowledgeable staff will cheerfully help you find the perfect fit. It's boots galore at Frontier Western Store, 5880 Goodman Road, Olive Branch, or on the web at frontierwesternstore.com. Family owned and operated, you know it, since 1967.
I think one of the most underrated things about Sweetgrass is the view.
That's so true. I love sitting here enjoying the perfect food and the perfect drinks, watching Cooper Young, easily Memphis's most eclectic neighborhood, pass by these huge windows.
You never know what kind of interesting people are going to pass by.
Plus, you can just enjoy looking at this great neighborhood with all these historic buildings.
But really, it's the people that live here that make it so interesting.
It's everything you want in a special restaurant, unique food and drinks, and unique people walking by.
One more reason why Sweetgrass is our favorite restaurant in Memphis.
3 years ago, I was told I had to have surgery on my shoulder. I had 3 bad things happen. I had rotator cuff issues, tendon issues, bicep issues. I was headed for surgery. And then I met Dr. Schrader. And after his procedure, I didn't need surgery. It is amazing how easy it is. 3 hours, my own stem cells being used on me. Now I can sleep at night. I can play golf. 3 hours, no pain, and I was like a new man. No rehab like you'd need with rotator cuff surgery. It was simply amazing to me, and it can be for you. Again, no pain and an alternative. So if you've got issues, not with just shoulders, but knees and back and neck, they are finding more and more things where stem cells come in handy. You have to talk to Dr. Schrader.
Call 901-465-4300 and see how Schrader Orthopedic and Stem Cell can help you today.
The best golfers in the world are coming to Memphis for the inaugural WGC FedEx St. Jude Invitational. Sports 56 will be broadcasting live at TPC Southwind throughout the day, Wednesday through Friday of tournament week, keeping you up to date with the latest tournament news and talking with players and officials. Our coverage from TPC Southwind on Sports 56 is presented by Landers Ford. Also brought to you by Roosters Men's Grooming Center, Blue City Cafe, Edwin Watts, Jason's Deli, First Bank, Memphis Paints, and Ronnie Grisanti's.
Hey, you guys, Memphis Paints and Sports 56 are teaming up Friday, July 19th. Come win lots of door prizes, 4 golf rounds at Wedgwood, gift cards at the Butcher Shop, and 2 lucky people win 2 box seats to the FedEx World Championship Golf Tournament, valued at $400 apiece. Wow, don't forget, complimentary Central Barbecue, yum. See y'all Friday, July 19th, Memphis Paints, 699 South Mendenhall, across the street from Half Shell. Come hungry.
Memphis Paints, 699 Mendenhall, Friday, July 19th. Sports 56 live from 3 to 6 p.m.
We are Sports 56 WHBQ Memphis, WIVG-FM Tunica Memphis, and WPG-FLP Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations. Now, more of Sports Time with Wolo and Stats on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM. This hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again are Dave Woloshin and Brad Norsworthy.
Welcome back in. We are at Memphis Paints, right across from the Half Shell. That is Mendenhall and Poplar Avenue. They're known for selling all kinds of paints and equipment to contractors and designers, but they say to me, where's the little secret here? We sell to the public.
We want you on a weekend job, Dave. We want you. We want you that paintbrush this weekend around your house, around that pool area.
I'm going to be swinging something, but it's not going to be a paintbrush. I can promise you that.
But for the weekend job, they've got paint for you. It's not just for contractors and larger operators.
No, and we've got Central Barbecue. You know who the biggest fan of Central Barbecue is, don't you?
I do. Our next guest.
That would be Peter Edmiston. You hear him every morning, 7 to 10 on the Peter Edmiston Experience with C.J. Hurt. And, we are being facetious. You're going to lead the parade for the Summer League Championship. But, here's the one thing. We did learn something in that Summer League Championship, and that is I think Brandon Clark is a solid player who will get some minutes on a regular rotation and was a smart move by Zach Kleiman to move up to make sure you got him at 21. Do you concur?
Oh, I mean, yeah, without a doubt. I don't – first of all, I want to win anything I'm in. So, it's nice to win. It doesn't really –
Exactly.
In the scheme of things, it doesn't really matter, but, there is a correlation if you go back and look at some of the teams that have won in the past. And it's about building the young core. I was, if I were just from a strictly fan standpoint, I'd be thrilled about how excited, Jaren Jackson and John Morant were. They stuck around the entire time. It was a long time in Vegas. By the end of the Summer League, everyone is tired. Everyone wants to get out. About a week is about all you can do in Vegas. They were there for, 10-plus days. And they weren't playing, but they were excited. They were there. They were into it, locked in. And that building that chemistry is great. As far as Brandon Clark goes, I mean, I just don't think you could have seen any more from him. He was, in my mind, spectacular. Obviously, winning the Summer League MVP is nice. But just, his performances, and I wrote a piece on him over at The Athletic, and I push it because, A, shameless plug, and B, it's got a lot of little videos that I cut of just a lot of the little things that he does. He's a really cerebral kind of player. Watching him, even in that setting, he just gets to spots before other guys. He just sees things a little bit earlier. He's a really high IQ player with a lot of athleticism. So that's the kind of guy that he should make a pretty quick adjustment to the league. And I really think his versatility on the defensive end and what looks like a burgeoning offensive game. I mean, he made more threes in Summer League than he did his entire, year in Gonzaga. So that tells you that there may be something building there.
Yeah, for sure, Peter. And I'm with you on if you enter, you should try to win. I certainly don't think winning it should be a point of derision that's been made by some. But we laugh about the parade and sending Dave to the White House as a formal representative from WHBQ at the White House ceremony for it. we joke, but if it's the first tiny step on that long journey to that real parade and that real championship, fine with me.
Well, I mean, I've talked about it with some other folks. It's just crazy to me. I really think, and you know, you guys know, and Dave obviously knows very well. I haven't done the show with me for the last few years, but I've been advocating for, you know, something like this for a long time because, and here's the crazy thing, like the excitement level from the city is unreal, like just strictly based on, like, you know, anecdotal evidence, of course, but like the numbers that we've done on the stuff that we've written over at The Athletic over the last couple weeks has destroyed most of the regular season stuff and most of the stuff over the last few years. Like, people are I mean, we're talking like huge jumps. So, like, you know, people are locked in. They're interested in this stuff in a way that they weren't for the last 2 or 3 years. And I think they know they're going to lose a bunch of games, but part of that building chemistry is also seems like, you know, an infusion of a different sort of core with a little more youthful energy and just something kind of new. I really think it's energized the fan base a lot. I think they know it's going to be a long time, but I think they're going to help build that chemistry too.
I think I have heard that Grizzly stories pertaining to Summer League and John Morant, and Summer League would then include Brandon Clark, that clicks on websites involving those stories are double what they were for the Grizzlies, even Mike Conley stories at the end of the year.
Hope springs eternal.
Yeah, I mean, it's done. It's doing huge numbers. You know, numbers on par with the stuff that like the exclusive I did with Mike Conley, you know, where he more or less asked for a trade. I mean, you were talking, you know, similar numbers to that, which was a big, you know, obviously a big one. So, I mean, I'm blown away. I knew that people were kind of, you know, wanting and, you know, thinking about something different, but boy, you know, it's even kind of, I think it's probably surprised them as much as anything else. And it kind of all goes back to, you know, being able to get fortunate enough to get Ja Morant. You know, that acquisition really changed the whole idea of what they could do in this offseason.
Will that be sustainable if it's a 25-win or 30-win season?
You know, I mean, you never know, Dave. I doubt that every single game is going to be on fire, and every single story and every single, you know, gamer and every press conference is going to be, you know, through the roof or anything. But I think people are willing to give them a chance. You know, the first over-under on wins I saw was 27.5. It's going to be a long year competitively.
Right.
Yeah, it's going to be a long year competitively. But I think people understand that. And if it's paired with the idea that you're building that young core that is also exciting, because you're going to see a lot of dunks. Brandon Clark is going to dunk everything under the sun. Ja Morant is one of the best passers to enter the NBA in a long time. I've seen, you know, a lot of guys I really respect say he's going to enter the league as a top 10 passer from day one and only go up from there. So you couple that with the guys they've got that could finish at the rim, it should be there should be a lot of excitement. It's a little bit like Atlanta last year. You know, they lost a lot of games, but you kept seeing them, and then towards the end of the year, yeah, they were a tough out. They beat the Warriors. They're a tough team. I think you could see something similar this year.
And you saw the game over game, the image of Trae Young, kind of the stereotype of Trae Young at Christmas was far different at the end of the year. And I think you could see, you know, some tough patches for Ja Morant heading into next year, visiting with Peter Edmondson from the Peter Edmondson experience and the Athletic covering the Grizzlies. Look, I think the new front office and the new assemblage of players, they deserve a chance, and we're starting over again collectively, and they deserve a chance. And until they have a gaffe or have some bad decisions or some tough breaks, I think the only fair thing to do would be to give them a chance.
Well, and I mean, you I think giving them that chance, but I think they've earned a lot of respect at this point. I mean, the job they've done, there were a lot of questions, you know, when the Grizzlies transitioned away from, you know, J.B. Bickerstaff and Chris Wallace and kind of the normal front office, and went very unconventional, you know, in bringing in a 30-year-old attorney who had kind of come in as legal counsel, even though he had a lot of basketball, you know, background, and elevated him so quickly alongside, you know, Rich Cho and Glenn Grunwald and, you know, other folks like that within the front office, and Jason Wexler jumping up to the president role. A lot of questions about how that would all play out. and those questions are still there. I mean, it's very young in the process, but thus far, I don't know the deal that they've lost yet. They've hit pretty much everything that you could have imagined in terms of a rebuild out of the park. I didn't think they would get a 2022 first-round pick from the Jazz, but they very potentially could get one because the protections on that second pick in the Mike Conley deal. I didn't think they'd be able to structure that in a way that would allow them to take Andre Iguodala's contract on and then add another first-round pick to that process. That saved some money that then allowed them to go into Phoenix, and Phoenix needed $3.5 million of room to be able to sign Ricky Rubio to the contract they had promised him. So lo and behold, here comes DeAnthony Melton, who's a very highly thought of prospect as a defensive player, and Josh Jackson, who's a former number 4 pick and is just a total wild card. I mean, you're just taking a stab on talent, but it's costing you nothing. In fact, you're getting an extra second-round pick as a result of that. You go up and down the list, and then Tyus Jones signing, which I think is a very good signing. They're pretty much batting 1,000 so far. So they've earned a lot of time from me.
And there is another one to be considered. They actually could get another first-round draft choice out of moving Andre Iguodala. What will end up happening with him?
Yeah, I see, and I would caution everybody to back off on that a little bit. I just don't see the deal that's out there to get a first-round pick from Iguodala. There are a lot of people that are really taking this as like kind of a slight, like, we're not going to be pushed around and bullied. We're going to, now you're not going to waive Andre Iguodala. We're not going to buy him out and blah, blah, blah. I mean, they're certainly right to try to test the market as much as they can. But if you try to think about who out there can not only take Andre Iguodala's money back while sending reasonable contracts to the Grizzlies, but would pay for that privilege that consider him an upgrade in a championship core. The two teams that were mentioned most often are the Rockets and the Clippers, and both don't really work for a couple different reasons for each team. Mavericks have been mentioned, but I don't think that deal has much steam, and you're really only getting like a second-round pick from that. I just don't think that first-round pick is out there, and I think at some point, if you can't get a decent return, you're probably just best to go ahead and buy him out. If he'll take $2 or $3 million off the top, go ahead and do that. Let him go. You can potentially use that space that you open up to do something else with, but this team needs roster spots. I mean, they got like 18, 19 dudes right now that are out there. So I don't think it's in their best interest to hang on to the bitter end with Iguodala.
Yeah, Peter, I'm looking at a list that has 23, and we know Dwight Howard and maybe Iguodala and some others are movable. Opening night when they're introduced, the home opener when they're introduced out to the line, who's one of the names right now on the roster that would surprise fans?
A name on the roster that won't be on the roster, you mean?
Won't be out there. He's on the roster. He's listed today, but opening
night. A guy like
night,
Jay Crowder you're talking about?
Yeah, I mean, that would surprise people. That would surprise
the one
people.
That would shock.
I don't think so. I don't think the only one that could possibly shock to the extent that that's possible would be Josh Jackson. I mean, there is some talk that if perhaps
with the diversion,
he doesn't show up in shape, or if he doesn't, if he's not, on board, he wasn't part of the young core. He was kind of conspicuous to some extent by his absence in Vegas, where all the other young players were kind of getting to know each other. Even, Jonas Valanciunas flew over to hang out for a couple of days. Tyus Jones was there. Pretty much everybody was there except for him. Maybe it would be to some extent shocking if they just kind of cut their losses on him. But everybody else, I think, if they're not there, it wouldn't shock anyone if Solomon Hill or Miles Plumlee or John Moran. Jay Crowder. If those guys weren't on the opening day roster, Dwight Howard, that wouldn't shock anybody.
What do you have to do to get arrested at an event called the Rolling Loud Music Festival?
You can ask Josh Jackson. He'd be happy
roll
to
too
tell
loud.
You
that's what he did. He rolled too loud.
Yeah, something about his 4-month-old and some marijuana. So I don't. He apparently stiffed some season ticket holders last year at a meet and greet. Was not terribly well thought of. Just sounds like he's just not at all mature. And I mean, you know what? You get a free shot at him. So I mean, whatever.
Yeah.
I've not been impressed with him on the court either. But the guy's a talent, and you got a shot at him. There's one name also that nobody really talks about, but he as far as my understanding is he will be signed. A guy named Marko Guduric, who is a sharpshooter. You can add him to the list. So they have to make room for him, and they've got their two-way spots sealed up with Yuta Watanabe and John Conchar. So they're just not. They're a little bit of a squeeze here, which is all the more reason why you probably can't just hang on to Iguodala forever.
What do you think the plans will be with Grayson Allen? We saw his true colors kind of come out again with what he did in the first or second game at Summer League that he was allowed to play.
Who could have seen it coming, Dave? Who could have seen it coming?
Yeah, right.
With a bright young guy. I mean,
but then Peter returns around and he helps him win that championship game. He makes big buckets down the stretch. He's on the floor for that final play. He's the one that makes the defensive deflection. So many people just don't like the guy from his Duke days, but seems like Taylor Jenkins is certainly willing to give him second chances.
Well, I mean, the front office is not. They're not giving up on the guy by any stretch. I think they view this as more of a minor incident than anything to get too caught up in. I mean, I tend to look at it more of a this is another red flag for a guy that already had quite a few when it comes to his personality. The bigger issue for me, I agree with you. He was better in the second half of that championship game, and he did make some plays. The problem is, I don't see, other than the fact that he was drafted in the first round, and he comes from Duke, I don't see an NBA skill. What's the NBA skill that he possesses? He shot 8% from three in Summer League. That would be 8, not 80.
Yeah, he was terrible. From
two of 24. Yeah. That's not real good. 32% from the field overall. Again, for a guy that's going to be primarily playing a two spot, that's an issue. Was he a good defender? He was not a good defender. He routinely got blown by from guys that probably are going to be playing over in China or in Turkey. I don't. If someone can tell me what his NBA skill is other than having gone to Duke, that would be great. Because I'm not saying he couldn't develop one. He, by all accounts, is a nice guy off the court. But I don't see any need to just go. You're going to keep him because you got one more year. But beyond that, I don't know if he's going to stick around beyond that.
Peter, how does so many NBA scouts buy the Duke pedigree with him? Because we all know if he'd have played college basketball at Creighton or New Mexico, he would have never been drafted.
Well, I mean, if you watch those Summer League games, and I told you that one of the Grizzlies was a first-round draft pick, and you didn't know who it was. You would not have ever said Grayson Allen was the guy on the court. I mean, you might have said the kid from Murray, Shaq Buchanan. You might have said Tyler Harvey. You might have said one of these other guys before you'd say Grayson Allen. He's got decent size, and I'm not saying you got to waive the guy like today or anything like that. You have a free shot at him like you do a lot of these guys. I just don't, from opening night or whatever. I fail to see at this point what he brings to the party that is worth getting real excited about compared to any number of other guys that could play that position.
I know it was the year before, but is Grayson Allen that much better than Dusty Hannes?
I mean, he's size-wise, yeah.
Hannes can shoot.
He sure can. He brings you something.
He can flat-out shoot.
He doesn't play a lot of defense, but he brings you something
so.
tangible.
I don't think so. Is he better than Tyler Dorsey, who was on the shooting guard who was on the team last year from Oregon? I mean, who's not part of things. I don't know. Is he better than any of those guys that you could throw out there? I mean, you pick a random G League type guard that gets a 10-day contract in February and plays a little shooting guard. Is Grayson Allen better than that guy? I don't really think so. I mean, again, he doesn't defend at an elite level. He doesn't shoot particularly well. He had that 40-point game that everybody points to, but that was basically a joke game. The Clippers were done. They had nothing to play for in that season and did not play with any kind of urgency. Didn't play their main guys very much, if at all. The game was largely meaningless. So yeah, I'm trying not to be biased because of my anti-Duke leanings, because I am pro Tyus Jones. So there you go. And apparently Tyus and Grayson, they played together.
I was
they're
DeLon
tight.
Wright, so
well,
I'm a minority
again,
on this one.
Yeah, I mean, we all have our things. And DeLon Wright, but listen, DeLon Wright has several NBA skills, whereas Grayson Allen, absolutely, it's hard for me to find one, really.
Well, I thought he would be a better shooter than what he showed in Summer League. That
Good
is
Lord.
for sure.
Well, he's got to be.
I mean,
he's got to be.
What was his percentage when he scored 40 in the Utah unit?
Had it been the Summer League percentage, he would have had to take about 150 shots to get to 40. So he is a better shooter. He's not an 8% shooter, but it just kind of shows it's the same thing with Ivan Rabb, who they moved his guarantee date back, but I don't think Ivan Rabb is long for this roster either. You got what is it that you bring? Yeah, what is it that you bring to the table? Ivan Rabb's a third year. That's his third summer. By the third summer, you're supposed to be kind of killing people out there. You're supposed to basically be too good for
you're supposed
summer
to be
league.
Cheering in the stands.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean that would be ideal. But if you have to play, you're supposed to be like, you know what, way better. To the point, like the Spurs, they played Lonnie Walker a little bit. If the first couple games, they're like, you know what, you're too good. This is pointless. Like you're beyond this. Let's just sit down. You're good. Like that's where you want to be. And instead, Rabb was just at best average, and sometimes worse than that. It's one of the things, to go back to Brandon Clark. One of the things that made me excited about Brandon Clark, he only committed 9 fouls in his 6 games in Summer League combined.
Wow. Only 9 defense fouls without fouling is big.
Rabb committed 9 fouls in 10 minutes. I mean, that's the
yeah, right. No, I think we're all in agreement. It's time to say goodbye to Ivan Rabb. It's actually time for us to say goodbye to you. Have a great weekend.
Peter, goodbye. Have a great weekend.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you. Next, I guess we won't see you. Well, we'll probably see
hear you
out at Southwind. I know I'll hear you.
Yeah, I'll be. I can't wait. I'm pumped about it. I'm excited. Forget about the Tiger stuff's already done with that. And a big thank you as well to Brett. Thank you for your time this week and excellent coverage. Really enjoyed it over at SEC Media. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Peter. I think you could tell how much fun I was having. Thank you.
Heck of a job.
You got it.
We let you know this portion of the show brought to you by Family Leisure. We actually have moved the Family Leisure studio. We are at Memphis Paints. That is at Mendenhall and at Poplar, right across from Half Shell. We got a whole bunch of folks in here now. They are eating Central Barbecue, and there's a big smile on everybody's face. And you can come by the way, and buy paints and supplies. It's not just for contractors and designers. But I want to remind you, you've got till Sunday for this wonderful Family Leisure pool clearance sale. All above ground pools starting at $11.99, the 24-foot pool starting at $17.99, and free upgrades on select pools. The special 12-month financing is available, and there's plenty of people that say, why would you want to get a pool thing going now? Because there's plenty of summer. We've really just begun to make time to swim, so make a splash at the Family Leisure Pool Clearance Sale. Family Leisure and I-40, where family and fun come together. So the story of the day with the British Open is Tiger didn't make the cut. Phil didn't make the cut. By the way,
Rory didn't make the cut.
Rory didn't make the cut, even though he shot a 65.
Boy, Tiger's running some interference for Phil. What a mess right now.
Well,
what's going on there?
Do you know what's really interesting here? Tiger and Phil have played in 83 major tournaments together. 83 major tournaments together. That's basically 21 years. And for the first time in the 84th, they didn't make the cut. It's the first time both didn't make the cut.
Who went between those two? Who wins anywhere again? The Greater Milwaukee Open. Either, neither? Who?
Tiger. Just because time is on his side.
But Phil's not hurt.
He's 43. Phil's 49. I don't know.
He might be. Something's going on.
Something's not right about Phil either.
Something's
not right.
You don't
lose 15 pounds and whatever that was.
And the year he had, man, he hadn't cracked the egg this year. It's been bad.
Do you realize we have talked about...
He did win at Pebble Beach, though, way back in February.
Yeah, he did. He did win.
But since then.
So they both have won tournaments this calendar year. You saw Tiger win.
Yeah, and both a long time ago. Time marched on for both of them this year, didn't it? And sometimes at the end, it can go in a blink of an eye.
After both their W's, they haven't done a thing since.
Yeah.
But, one of the odd things is we're talking about all this bad stuff, and no Tiger coming here. We know that now, too. We forgot to tell you, J.B. Holmes and Sean Lowry are your leaders at the British Open. They both shot a combined 8 under for the 2 days. Tommy Fleetwood and Lee Westwood are at 7 under, and you got a whole group at 6 under.
How about Justin Harding, 65? Some say he's the best putter on the tour.
I
wouldn't know him if he walked in Memphis Paints.
I didn't know much at all about Justin Harding. I know a little bit about Justin Rose because I picked him, and he's at 6 under.
Nobody in here is Justin Harding, is it? Got on the Concorde and flew over from
no,
okay, good. From Ireland, good.
No, because they got to play tomorrow. Koepka and Spieth all at 5 under. Fratelli, who won last week's, also at 5 under. Tony Finau, Patrick Reed, John Rahm, Matt Kuchar, 4 under. Dustin Johnson's at 3 under. What about Spieth at 5 under?
And put on a putting clinic today. It was a show. Just from way downtown, anywhere. If he got on the putting surface, it was going in today. I think Dylan Fratelli played college golf at Texas with Jordan Spieth.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be.
What 2 weeks for him? From Silvis to Ireland.
Right. He got, because of Silvis, he got to Ireland, and he got
headed to Memphis.
He got in that plane,
headed to Memphis,
that Dallas Maverick plane, and he's making the most of it. That is for sure. A title sponsor this hour of the program happens to be Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch. It's also Homer Skelton Hyundai in, I should say, Genesis.
Is that your ride?
Yeah.
Nice.
The white Santa Fe.
That's what you're in.
Oh, you wait till you see the inside. Wait till you see, seriously. Here's what I got in that car. I got seat warmers.
Somebody's taking a key down the side of it. Does it matter? No,
seat coolers. Seat coolers. On a day like today,
you need them.
You put the cooler on.
You need
It's
cool
incredible.
everything today.
I even got a steering wheel warmer for when it gets colder. I mean, it's and I'm telling you, like if I'm backing out and a car is coming, it will not let me move. It's Wolo proof is what it is. And I need that stuff.
You do need it.
I need it. No question about it. You can have one, too. And
some technology era we're living in when you're Wolo-proof.
Yeah, exactly. It is called Hyundai, or it is called Genesis, and it comes with assurance. If you go to Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, and I'm telling you, it's easy to get there. Straight down Lamar, first exit Mississippi Craft Road, turn left, you'll be there. You'll get 10-year, 100,000-mile limited powertrain warranty on any of this new technology, and it is spectacular, I promise. Homer Skelton Hyundai. We take a break. When we come back, Tim Doolin on baseball, plenty to talk about as you listen live from Memphis Paints to Sports Time with Wolo and Stats.
Spend your lunch with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy on Sports 56 middays, delivered by FedEx. Weekdays from 10 to 1 on Sports 56 and 87.7 FM.
Hi, this is John Conway with Conway Services. Have you noticed your air conditioning system never breaks down at a good time? We know at Conway Services the timing is never right to replace your air conditioning system. That's why we have financing options. Right now, during the dog days of summer, get your new Carrier air conditioning system as low as $99 per month. That's right, Conway Services has new Carrier air conditioning systems as low as $99 per month. Now, you can do that. Plus, your new air conditioning system comes with a 10-year parts warranty and a free programmable thermostat. And you know with Conway Services, you'll be receiving our award-winning service every time. So call Conway Services, the Mid-South's premier heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric service company at 384-3511. That's 384-3511. And the first 30 callers with a 10-year-old air conditioning system will come out and inspect it absolutely free.
Call 384-3511. Conway Services. Call Conway today.
Valero salutes you and all your finest moments. For those times you go beyond what you thought possible. Whether that looks like running that extra mile or that extra errand. For taking on a new challenge, a new adventure, or a new route to work. Wherever life's finest moments take you, get there with the finest fuel. Valero top-tier certified quality fuel. It keeps your engine running cleaner, better, and longer. Find a station near you at ValeroCleanGas.com.
Book a Caribbean vacation for your mouth at Curry and Jerk. So you are Arturo, and you came together with Ricardo to create Curry and Jerk for what?
To bring people together, to share our culture and letting people smile by eating the food that we're used to. We wanted to bring the combination of the West Indies culture to share right here in America with others.
And you don't have to go all the way to the Caribbean to have a taste of the Caribbean. You can have it right here in downtown Memphis.
That is absolutely correct.
Chef Ricardo, tell me a little bit about Sunday brunch.
Yeah, our Sunday brunch is like something different that you will get. It's like a mixture of the Caribbean mixed with the basic type of brunch people used to here in Memphis, but we just turn it up a notch with our Caribbean spices and flavor, and it is such a big difference.